You knew this was coming. You knew this day had to come. Just like I talked about masturbation, I had to talk about excessive use of vibrators. Ain't nobody off the hook. Nobody gets off the hook over here. We just share information. I'm not interested in educating anybody. You've already been miseducated, indoctrinated, whatever they call it, indoctrinated, all of that. All I'm interested in is information, sharing information. You do with the info what you want. Like I figured, I shared a post some months back, about 3 months ago. I shared a post on excessive use of vibrators and the downfall of using vibrators, dildos, all those different things associated with the female pleasuring herself, minus the hands. And got some backlash. You know, you got sometimes, man, when you sharing information, what happens is, it's not that the information is bad, it's that what you're doing is you're speaking directly to somebody. Now, you don't know who, but you're speaking directly to someone that is following or that is in direct contrast to the information that you're sharing. So that kind of stings them. When it gets you there, you feel like you got to lash out. You know, it's like if somebody hits you, you're going to jab them right back. Boom, boom. You're going to jab them right back. So that's really what happened. And I expect that. I always expect things like that. You can't really worry about that. Information is information. My job is to give the information. My job ain't to argue with you. You already know how I feel because I'm sharing the information. So whatever it is that you're talking about, I don't have time to go back and forth with you unless you really trying to find some information or we're just having a healthy discourse. But all this arguing, that ain't happening. I don't even get involved in that. I state my point and I'm gone. So if you want to come to this video and argue, you know, you have people making crazy comments, and that's part of, everybody ain't going to love what you say. Everybody's not, just you and you as an individual, everybody's not going to love you. But you don't allow that to stop you from at least sharing information or something that you believe to be true. Because you can do everything nice and still get shafted in the end, or still get treated, you know, wrongly by people, still get wrong. Anyway, let me read you some of, because I wrote an article and I still have some of the quotes. Let me read you some of these things that women were sending me when I put this article up, and then we'll just get into the things, the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying about this whole vibrator dildo thing. So one of the first things that one of these females wrote me was, one of the sisters wrote me was, cell phones present the same danger. Are you going to stop using them as well? EMFs, which are electromagnetic fields. That's what I talk about in the, I'll explain it in a minute. But EMFs, electromagnetic fields. EMFs are present everywhere. There's Wi-Fi. Wherever there's Wi-Fi, there's EMFs. Are you going to stop using Wi-Fi? I detest when people use science to scare people. We are immersed in a world that depends on gadgets that emit EMFs. Don't just choose one select group of products. I have 3 children, a history of clean paps, and I'm a proud BOB user. Cool. Next quote. Oh well, nobody's going to get out of this world alive. Choose your own poison. By the way, I'm keeping mine. Cool. You're not hurting anybody. The next one. I hate when people share a bunch of hyped up information that has no real scientific base or truth. How's it hype if I'm giving you links to science? What are you talking about? That's why people are lazy. They just see what they see and they fly off the hinge. That's all they do. That's what people, you have to learn to not be so emotional and listen to what somebody is trying to tell you. Listen to the message. Next quote. Oh well, anything can be bad for you nowadays. Still using mine. Listen, this is free will. You can do what you want to do. This information is not, I'm not telling you to change your lifestyle. It's just information. That's all it is. Last quote. LOL. They may as well get rid of electricity as a whole, since it's horrible for our health. Okay. So what you see is you have people taking things over the top. But let me explain the initial quote that I put up, which said, women, anything that heats up and has a battery produces EMF, electromagnetic fields. and in some cases radiation. Cell phones, laptops, electric toothbrushes, and you guessed it, vibrators. In quotation marks, some of the reproductive health challenges and problems you're experiencing could be used by excessive EMF in that area. You're exposing the cervix, clitoris, ovaries, and other vital parts of the reproductive system to constant electric current, EMF, and plastic from the vibrators. We know the climax feels good, but the EMF is not beneficial for you. Not to mention the materials these things are made with, along with the toxic lubricants. Think about when you use certain battery-powered products, because the machine gets hot. Alright, so why would I say all this? Well, why would I even start stirring up all this, getting people upset? The main thing is this. Toxic lubricants. You have propylene glycol. Propylene glycol in a lot of these jellies, okay, these lubricants, propylene glycol, it irritates, well, it causes irritation in the vagina, and in some cases burning. And you have petroleum. It always comes back to that petroleum. Petroleum coming from gas. What's the haps on the petrol? Remember when Cube was in the movie, he said, yo, what's the haps on the petrol? Well, he was asking for gas. Petrol means gas. Petroleum gas. You're clogging your pores. Remember when Mom used to put that on your skin and clog your pores? You really weren't, that really wasn't a good thing. You're putting gasoline on your skin. Petroleum. So when you use that, you're putting that in your vagina. Parabens is it's a preservative. It's a synthetic preservative that irritates the estrogen and has also been linked to breast cancer. So if I need to elaborate on these things like this, then that's an issue. The next thing, electromagnetic fields. Anything that gets warm, for the most part, if it has batteries, if it gets warm, it's going to produce electromagnetic fields. As the woman so brilliantly said, damn mosquito. As the woman so brilliantly said, everything, we have EMS with everything we do. You have EMS with laptops, you have radiation, also you have radiation with cell phones. The difference is this. You're not putting the cell phone in your vagina. You're not putting the laptop in your vagina. You're not putting the microwave in your vagina. Now those cause radiation. That's something totally different. But you're not putting the electric toothbrush in your vagina. So that is the fundamental difference. You are not putting this inside. When you put it inside, it's like you are, anything that causes, can we agree that when a person gets sentenced to death, they get sentenced to what? The electric chair, right? So we can agree that electricity cooks things. Electricity does cook things. I cook every day, sometimes with the electric stove here in the DR. So electricity does cook things. Now, if electricity cooks things and you're putting electricity in your vagina, you're exposing the clitoris. You're exposing the ovaries. You're exposing the reproductive system to electricity directly. Electricity. Desensitizing that part of the body and also wearing it out, causing problems. Plastic. Plastic is another reason why I mention that. Plastic, because of the BPA, if you think about water bottles, plastic can seep into the water, especially if you leave it in a warm place. That's why it's always best to store your water in a cold place. And they tell you, try not to use plastic, try to use glass. Glass is better for storage. So if the BPA, which has a lot of chemicals, which seeps into the water, which causes all kinds of problems for the body, if it can seep into the water and you're using a dildo, it can seep into the vagina. So if it seeps into the vagina, now you have direct contact. You have directly affected that part of the body. Understand? Capiche? We got it? So, there's another thing. Desensitization. Just like with the male with masturbation, a woman can become desensitized from constantly using vibrators. A man may not be able to please. It's a little bit different because you're putting something inside of you. A man is using his hand, and he can still become desensitized. And technically, he's a little bit more organic than a woman because he's using his hand. If a woman is using something outside of herself, a plastic object, the body rejects anything that's not natural. That's why they tell you when you go for an organ transplant, anything that you take foreign to the body and you introduce it, all organs may not accept. They said we got to give it a while to let the body accept his kidney, let the body accept his liver. When you introduce something into the body is going to automatically reject it because it doesn't notice it. It's foreign, okay? So you're putting that in your body. And when you put that in your body, you are desensitizing that part. Not only that, you are missing out on the kissing, the touching, the hugging, the foreplay, all those things that a man provides, the love. These are all necessary nutrients that you need, or the physical and the mental needs for stimulation. Now, if you're skipping all that and you're just putting this inside of you, you become desensitized to a man. Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. You start talking that crazy talk when nobody came here on earth to be here alone, to just self-please. Some of the solutions, I would say, number one is try to use, if you're going to do that, try to use natural oils like almond oil and shea butter, so that at least you're not putting that propylene glycol, you're not putting petroleum, you're not putting that stuff inside your body. You can put these things, you can use these things because these things are natural. Obviously, they're natural in nature. Another thing, use your hands. Use your hands. Now, you don't have the Freddy Krueger fingers like I got, but use your hands. That's what is more natural. You know which buttons to press to please yourself. That is the difference. Yeah, you can use a vibrator and do all of that, or you can use a dildo, or the sex toy. But with your hands, it's a little bit more natural. All you got to do is wash your hands. You know where to touch with your hands. It's just a little bit more natural. Third is try to start sexually transmuting that energy. Sexually transmute the energy that you are going through, that you're using right now. That means work on your life purpose. Work out. Use other things. Start doing other things so that that energy can kind of dissipate, so you can put that energy on other things. I talk about that in the purpose of sex. I'm actually leave an article below about sexual transmutations that I wrote. And also, if you can't, grab a copy. I think it's like $7. Grab a copy of What's the Purpose of Sex. I talk about it for an hour. I break up to 4 to 5 different branches of the purpose of sex. I'll leave that below as well, the link to it. You can get the MP3 download, or you can get the CD. We can send you the CD. So these are just some things to help you. I don't care about what anybody does with their life. You can do what you want to do. It don't hurt me. You can use vibrators and dildos till we all turn 100. I don't care what you do. The point is that I'm giving you the information so you can make a better decision. Whatever you do has no bearing on me. It has no bearing on me. So do what you want to do. But I'm trying to give you something that's going to be a safer alternative. That's the whole point. Safer alternatives. And to try to get you to live more in nature. That's what Sa means. Cochise Tarak Sa. God of nature. We want to live a little bit more in nature so that we can live natural. In natural is the word nature. You got me? So living in nature is a little bit better. Mother Nature. But when you live synthetically, then you have problems. And using a dildo or using a vibrator is synthetically, because you're supposed to be with a man and the man is supposed to be with a woman. And that's how we're going to leave it. Nothing